God told me to tell you this. He says that when you pray and trust God, he really does hear you. But sometimes he just doesn't answer the way that you want him to answer. There have been many prayers that I prayed and God came back with a different answer. And most of the people would think, well, God let me down. But as they travel on their journey and got to their destination, boy, I'm telling you, it's been awesome to see what he's doing in people's lives. I had a young lady come to me, and she had gotten a job, and she was excited about the job. And she was dropped off at work and was dressed to go in and went to work on the job. And later that day, they said, well, look, we haven't finished your background, and we don't have, you got to take a drug test, and we're sorry to tell you, but you just can't come to work today. It's not going to happen. And so, her ride had dropped off, and she had to move around and wait for the ride to come back, and she was frustrated, but she just kept going and kept believing, even though she was frustrated. So you can say this, that she didn't allow her feelings to control her destiny. And at the end of the day, she got another call from another job, and it was a better job. It was a stay-at-home job, and it paid more money than the job that she was at before. So I want you to understand something. God doesn't always answer the prayers the way you want them answered. He doesn't always come when you think he should come. But I want you to remember this. He's always on time, and he knows what you don't know. So I guess what I'm telling you is this. You got to plan your way, but let him direct your path. Sometimes it's so hard for us to do because once we get a plan in our mind and it doesn't happen, we have a tendency to get disappointed. And when we get disappointed, that fear creeps in and it paralyzes our faith. So what I want you to do and what God is telling me to tell you is just keep going, keep believing, keep trusting, because you already have the victory. I want you to just catch that. You already have the victory. So if you can go through your daily activities, accepting the disappointments, I promise you on the other side of it is something greater. I got a call back from that young lady. She said, Pastor, I wouldn't have wanted that job over this job for nothing in the world. And I said to her, see, God's ways is bigger than your ways. His thoughts is higher than your thoughts. So sometimes when you plan something, he has something greater. Just keep going, keep believing, keep trusting. I got some word for you that shows you that when you pray, he does hear you. And when he hears you, boy, he'll give you what you ask for. That if we ask anything according to his will, that is consistent with his plan and purpose, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, for a fact, indeed we do, and that he hears and listens to whatever we ask for, we also know with settled and absolute knowledge that we have been granted the request which we've asked him for. So I want you to just stop for a second, believers. I need you to let this really get down into your spirit, that you are already victorious. I want you to just think about that. If you were going into the bank to get a loan, you're already victorious. If you were going out to try to accomplish something financially or expecting a blessing, you already have the blessing. Now, here's the key to it. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, but the word can't come back void. And then it says that if he hears you, and it's according to his will and his plan that he'll manifest it. I want you to remember that little girl that I shouldn't call her a girl. She's a very young lady. The young lady that was looking for a job and went to work, and then she didn't get the job. And then after she didn't get the job and she had to go on a long journey, she waited. She got something better according to the will and purpose plan that God had for her life. I want you to know something, that God has that perfect plan for you. I want you to know something, that he wants to do something miraculous in your life. I want you to think about what Ruth must have felt when her mother and father were killed. And she was adopted into a family by her uncle and not having her parents and coming up. And her life looked like it was going to be a disaster, but God had the master plan. And later she became queen. Not just for her benefit, but she saved the nation. I tell you something, he wants to use you to do something great, but you're going to have to believe and understand that you're already victorious, and that when he hears you and it lines up with his plan, which is bigger than anything you can imagine. You know, the word says it this way: he can and will do exceedingly abundantly more than you could ever ask or think. But the power lies in you who believe. So when you believe what the word says, know this: the word is his will, and his word can't come back void. It'll do what it says, but you got to be conscious that you're already righteous and you're already victorious through Christ Jesus. I need you to leave today to go out to understand that you already been qualified and justified for the purpose and plan God has for your life. So disregard all the stuff that you have to go through, because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to count it all joy when your character, patience, and endurance is shaped, because your faith is going to be complete and you can access what he has for you. God bless you.